Welcome to CFES Brilliant Pathways. I'm Ron Ricks, a Program and Service Coordinator with the organization, and welcome to Colgate Cares Day. On behalf of our CEO, Rick Dalton, we'd like to thank all of you volunteers that are giving some of your time on September 30th to support us in providing college and career readiness pathways to students in traditionally underserved rural and urban communities. What you'll be participating in on September 30th is approximately a half-hour session. Some of you may have multiple sessions with students throughout New York State that are in the CFES Brilliant Pathways Network that are working on establishing and building dreams for the future and creating college and career readiness pathways for them to achieve it. At CFES Brilliant Pathways, we really strive on underserved communities with our goals of reaching first-generation students that will be the first in their family to attend, graduate college, vocational school, or technical school, and move on to a career. It's real exciting to partner with Colgate-Palmolive on this initiative, and together we should be impacting about 17 or 18 schools with over 1,000 students throughout New York State. Many of them their first time having an opportunity to have a professional engineer, human resource person, executive, or officer of a major corporation share in their pathways with us. At CFES Brilliant Pathways, we're going to ask you to basically share your story. We've sent out information with our tips and scripts, with a quick overview of our 6 essential skills and a sample college and career readiness map that we call the Scholar Map that we use with students to help them at whatever grade level they are to track their way through schools with their dream of what they want to become and what they can make happen in the future. All of you have a story to tell, and we're just asking you to frame your story using our essential skills and using the Scholar Map, so it's in a language very similar to our students. And that's what we did in our tips and scripts. Also, you should have received by now or very soon a list of the assignments of the schools and the times that you'll be working with and the platform, whether it's Google Meet or Zoom, in which you'll be interacting with our scholars. We call them scholars because we feel they all have the potential, and it's how do we build the support networks, provide them a mentor and guidance, and enhance their essential skills to get there. And that's the basic work of CFES. We focus in on 3 core practices. The first one is mentoring. This is a form of virtual mentoring where we're getting a unique experience for many of our students to hear from you, your pathways, the obstacles that you overcame in your life, the hardships that you had, the successes that you had, the goals, the dreams, and the vision that you had. And it could have been like me, because I had a strong network, I ended up in a career by accident, but it worked out good. It was very rewarding for 40 years. So our first activities that we really focus in with students is development of 6 essential skills that we have worked with and learned from business organizations and college folks as to what enhances the likelihood of success for a scholar and an employee. First one is goal setting, having a goal, having a dream for the future, and then being inspired to move forward and get it. Knowing that you can't move forward on your own, you need a village to basically raise the child, is the old saying, but how to have a support network, and we call that the skill of networking, to help a student become aware of opportunities, become aware of financial aid, being supportive in the application process, the career process, very similar to what many of us in the professional world as we have our professional network. Let's teach the youngsters the skills to start developing a network as early as elementary school. The other skills that we focus in on, your more traditional ones, is teamwork. In today's world, it's teams that do everything, teams that solve problems. Work is in a team, and I know during this pandemic it's a challenging for me because I'm isolated many of the time. Rather than working with each other, learning to learn your role, but yet be able to see the big picture and understanding the nuances of the whole process or the system thinking, but your role may be a little bit more specific as we move forward. And that leads naturally into the role of leadership. And as you know, leadership takes all types of different forms, but we give kids opportunities to develop leadership skills and have that experience which leads to success. And the last two that I really love is one is perseverance. Everywhere, everybody in their life is going to have obstacles, but how do they overcome them? How do they take on the challenges? I watch kids work on a skateboard trick, or my daughter in a dance trying to do a back kickflip. They try and they try and they try. They get frustrated, but they never give up. And then when they achieve it, it's like, yeah, I got it. And yet, how do you take that skill that you have for something you have a passion for and apply it to other settings in your life, whether it's work world or the educational world? And then the newest skill that we're working on is agility, which I can't believe it hasn't been a major emphasis before, but the ability to adapt to the changing situation around us. I'm so proud of our organization and Colgate-Palmolive be able to take and be agile in our thinking for your Cares Day by reaching out to students virtually. Many of them are going to be in their own living rooms or their kitchen at home, Skyping in. Fortunately, some of our students will be in school in a classroom. But our barriers are broken down. We're able to adapt to the situation and move forward, because who knows what the world looks like for our students coming up. So basically what you want to do is we want you to be engaged with our kids. Tell your story. Talk about what you did in school. If you're dealing with a ninth grade class out of a certain school, start talking about what you did from ninth grade up. What clubs, what activities were you involved with? What were your favorite subjects? What did you engage in? Now, clubs and activities aren't just school-based. They could be community-based. They could be in the church-based. They could be in the neighborhood-based. But we find that many students acquire those essential skills outside of the academic setting also by being a member of a team. Those are things that you can share on your pathway. If you have the ability to share your screen and show pictures with the students, please do that. Show them where you work. Show them a picture of your school. You may be dealing with students in the New York City or up in rural, almost to Canada, New York State, where they're going to be amazed at a school of 500 kids, never mind a pre-K through 12 school of 450 kids. So it's all different backgrounds. Feel free to, if you don't have the ability, I'm going to try to model it, is share a visual like this. This is our scholar map that we've shared with you. And you can see how we look at the essential skills, the mentoring, and then the college and career pathways that are in there. Here's a sample of one that shows you some of the different things, which was also sent to you. And you can look at a student playing Little League Baseball, being in a church group or a dance group in elementary school, whereas getting into being vice chairperson of the engineering club or other things as they get into high school. Do they get in student government? Or are they working part-time and acquiring those essential skills? So there's a variety of ways that kids can acquire the skills, and as you reflect on that, share that with the students also. Again, we find being straightforward with kids, describing things in visual terms, let them be able to see what you're saying. That's why the pictures help. But as we work with students, we try to describe the behaviors. We try to describe the situation. And feel free to share a struggle you may have had. I know many of my friends, including me, I had thought about seriously dropping out of college at certain times, but yet I had a support network that provided me the sports and overcome it. Feel free to talk about the feelings, but what rallied to get you through that? Or how did your goal have a major impact so you didn't give up on a subject that you were struggling with, or you were saving the money for college or for a special event from your job that you persevered and worked through, and then all of a sudden a promotion came or a different assignment, and then you fell in love with it. But talk about the hows, the whats, and the wheres, and the whys of how you overcame that. So again, it's pretty much sharing your story. Try to follow them along that pathway. They're going to have some questions for you because we've asked some of our teachers to brainstorm questions. It's going to be easier for when they're in class versus remotely, but some of their questions may be, why do you work at Colgate-Palmolive? What do you do? How long have you been there? How'd you end up there? What did you have to do to get your job? Have you worked at other places before Colgate-Palmolive? Have you had different jobs there? And some may base down as, where'd you go to school? What did you do in school? Why'd you pick the college you went to or the technical school? So if students get shy and bashful and aren't answering those questions, you use this phrase like, hey, here's some common questions that we get. Why did I pick Colgate-Palmolive? Okay, I know you can go online, you can go through the HR stuff and see all the reasons that work there, but tell them your story. Also, what were you looking for, the characteristics when you looked at college? Or if you were in the city, we've got some students that are going to select which high school they're going to based upon the thematic things that could be lead into their career and their college pathway. So why'd you select the high school you went to if you're talking to middle school students or younger ones? But again, give them the thinking behind. It's in being a longtime educator, we talk about thinking out loud or describing your thinking to kids. So reflect back on that process and share that with them. So we asked you to try to do whatever you can to connect the essential skills. Talk about how you're using agility. You may be working at home. You may not have been to work in the past 5 months. What's it like? How are your skills different? So hopefully we've given you a couple tips on how to prepare for your session. As you get into it, we want to engage kids. We want active learners, not passive ones. So what we ask you to do is ask students questions. Give them a little wait time. Pause. Give them a few seconds to think about it, and then rally some. If students aren't answering, throw it back at the teacher and ask her or him about things that they're experiencing in their classroom or in their school that may relate to something that you're doing in your job, your career at Colgate-Palmolive. Maybe you went to school in a part of New York near where they are, so you have something in common to share with them. So really the simple thing is use simple terms, talk directly to kids, and engage them. Ask them questions. Show them what you can. Like I said, in the near future, you will be receiving the school and the grade level that you'll be working with. It'll be emailed out to you. We'll also provide you right on our webpage and in the email a link to a webinar that we'll use to touch base to get everybody grounded on Wednesday, September 30th, before the start of the day. We've scheduled throughout the day 30-minute blocks trying to coordinate with schools as to what time works best for them. Schools aren't like the business world. They don't have meetings at 9 o'clock. They do it when their academic period is free, which could be 8:47 to 9:21. That's the academic world, so we're trying to coordinate that. You may have some classes or you may have some students based upon their schedule signing in and joining you a little bit late. Others may have to leave earlier because we've done the best we can to coordinate that half hour within generally a 45-minute class. But sometimes they may need to leave 2 or 3 minutes early. So again, we ask that you give a little introduction of yourself, talk about who you are, share your stories, and have fun with our kids. I've been in education. I just retired after 40 years, and I loved every day with the kids because I learned so much from them. So enjoy the learning with the students, and thank you so much for volunteering to join CFES Brilliant Pathways as we build college and career readiness pathways for students in generally underserved populations. And again, kudos to Colgate-Palmolive and a special thanks to you. Enjoy the time. We'll be around if you need help, and we'll give you contact information to reach us at CFES Brilliant Pathways, and we have a dedicated section of our webpage just for this program. Again, thanks. Have a great day on September 30th, and we look forward to touching base with you for any last minute or preparations on that morning. Thanks, everybody.